of the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother best agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris,
I'm Russ.
and this is episode 228.
228 back in the virtual nerd basements, guys. Welcome back. It was a beautiful, warm day here in the Detroit area.
Yes, it was.
And it's gonna get hotter. They're saying upwards of 90 degrees by the end of the week.
Yeah, I've been golfing and it's been like 50 degrees, and then last week it was like perfect. It was like 67, something like that. ACD. And then this week it's gonna be fucking 90.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. What the fuck, dude?
I want my spring, goddammit.
I know. It's like we jump over spring a lot of the times. Like last week, it was in like in the mid 60s. Got as high as the upper 60s. It was comfortable, but it was still like, okay,
Yeah.
There's spring. We had about a week of spring, is what we did,
And that's what we usually get. And then it
Yeah.
goes, that's enough. Here's summer.
right. And we had some, and that was the other thing too. Like in February and March, we had days that were, holy shit, warm too.
Yeah.
It was still winter. I mean, I think we had one day in February that it hit almost 80, didn't we?
I think so.
Like end of February,
I
something
think
like
it
that?
was. Well, I think it hit almost 70. I don't think it hit 80.
Okay, almost 70. But then we did have a day in March, at least in March, that it hit almost 80, and it was like way out of the ordinary.
Yeah, you're right. There was, but it was still winter at the time, I think.
And then it
might have been just into spring.
Right, and then it jumped back down
Yep.
into the normal weather. So I mean, and they always talk about,
Dude,
everybody will say
3 weeks ago we had fucking snow.
right, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and they always say things like, oh, you don't like the weather around Michigan, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. They say that literally everywhere,
They do.
like everywhere in North America.
When I lived in
continental
Louisville,
United States.
when I lived in Louisville, people were saying, in Louisville, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes, it'll change. I'm like, well, you say that here too, huh?
You know what they don't say? Well, you know where they don't say that is Phoenix,
San Diego,
in Arizona, San Diego, probably too. San Diego. What is it? What's the line? I think it means whale's penis. No, I think it means Saint Diego. I can't.
guessing
From
that's
I'm trying to think of the line from Anchorman.
I see. I haven't seen Anchorman. It's on my list of.
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth
I'm not
it.
I'm not a
Second
huge,
one's not as strong.
I'm not a
still.
huge Will Ferrell fan. So
Man,
I like some of the stuff. Now, Euro, when he just fucking
Fire Saga.
Well, yeah, well, it's not Fire Saga, but it's
It's Fire Saga, Eurovision.
Eurovision. That's what it is. It's actually Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
The saga, the story of Fire
the story of Fire Saga. Yeah.
But yeah, Eurovision was that one was way better than I thought it was going to be.
That was really fucking funny, but it wasn't that. What made it funny wasn't just Will Ferrell.
No.
Will Ferrell didn't.
If anything, he was one of the worst things in the movie, I think.
I don't know about that, but I know he was like. I mean, it was more of a duo kind of piece, between him and the woman that was in it. I'm blanking on her name right now, but that movie was hilarious. It got an Oscar nomination for song.
Oh yeah,
for best song. Yeah, it did.
And I'm thinking I know who it is, but I don't want to screw it up. So
yeah,
the story Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga.
Yeah, that's it.
And is it Rachel McAdams? That's who
Rachel McAdams. Sure. Yeah, and it's funny because she can do some really serious. She leans on the serious stuff. She does a lot of serious work, but she can really do the funny too. She really's got some comedy chops.
You want
That's
to hear
one of the
our
things-
you want to hear our Eurovision song? No.
No!
Ya ya ding dong.
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong. Oh my god. So yeah. So how was your week, man?
It was all right. The weekend was kind of cool. Had Pete come over on Friday night to start painting his fig for the very first time.
No, that's cool.
Painted a mini.
How did he do?
He did all right. He's still got a lot of work to do on it. He's got the base coat down, so now he has to go back and touch some things up and do a wash.
Sure.
Overall, not bad. It's way better than my first attempt ever was.
Very cool.
But yeah, so other than that, it was a lot of it was kind of relaxing. Went and watched a Chelsea game on Saturday.
What'd you guys get all dressed up for?
We went out to dinner for Renee's birthday. Today is actually Renee's birthday, so happy birthday, honey. It's
Happy birthday, honey.
It's her today is her birthday. So we went out to dinner.
Good.
Went out to a place here over at Partridge Creek called Cooper's Hawk.
Okay.
It's a winery and restaurant, and their wine's really good. They actually do a beer. They have a beer made for them and everything like that. That's pretty good. But they also had. I actually had after dinner. I had an old fashioned. I had an after dinner drink, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely delicious. But the food was incredible, as always. And yeah, it was a good time. A very enjoyable evening. Probably the highlight of my
Lovely. Very nice.
spending time with her. Because we've both been so busy lately that it seems like we rarely get to really spend a lot of time together.
Well, she's super duper busy, you know. I mean,
And so am I. I mean,
Yeah.
both of us have a lot of our own things, and so brandy old fat. I'm not a brandy guy, so
okay.
but yeah, so that was the majority of it. Getting ready. We did Tavern Talk last night, and then doing this tonight. Got
Right.
tomorrow off, and then golf on Thursday, and then Tavern Nights on Friday, and then my other game on Saturday. So it's a busy week.
Well, all right. Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to keep busy too, you know, a lot. And it's like I'm not quite as packed as you are, I think, in your schedule, but it is surprising how much more we're doing now for our channel than we were like when we first started.
Oh yeah.
You know, when we first started, it was like, you know, we're just doing once a week. Coming over to your house was, you know, that was a full day, you know, not full day, but it was an evening, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, just by the time I get over there and then we do the show and then I get home and whatever, it's usually around
Well,
10:30ish.
and well, yeah. So you come over, we talk a little bit, we do the show, and it used to be we weren't live,
Right.
so we would talk for a while and go, oh, you know what, we should probably start the show, and start the
Mhm.
show, record it, and then hang out and talk afterwards as you walk to the door, and like an hour and a half later, you're actually getting in your car and leaving.
Right. Yeah. That Michigan goodbye,
Yeah.
you know. And but yeah, I mean, that was like, you know, by the time I got home and settled and stuff, it's usually after 11, and it was that was my evening, you know. And I do, although I do prefer to be in the same room, I mean, this does make things a little easier in that, you know,
Yeah,
I
it
just
does.
get to sit down. And I think it does definitely help when we're doing our other shows, or, you know, particularly like doing Tavern Nights and stuff like that. You know, we just do it from here. Don't worry, guys. There will be shows where we are back in the same studio together.
But we're working on the idea of actually doing Tavern Nights live too.
Yeah.
Everybody in the basement.
Yes, exactly.
Because honestly, they're as convenient as it is to do it online here and do all that, we do still run into some issues, like when servers crash and things like that. But also, being in the same room when you're playing D&D there really is something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it has always been a social game.
Mm-hmm.
It has always been a game, a game of sitting around the table rolling dice, even if you're rolling digital dice on your tablet or whatever. It's being in the room with your friends and whatnot has always been that thing. And we all definitely miss that.
Yep.
I know I do. So
You can only do so much with a Zoom meeting.
yes, exactly. So that is, we are working on that. We are getting to the point where we are just about all vaccinated.
Yep.
And I'm sure, then it's just a matter of figuring out how to properly broadcast with 7 people and a table and the whole thing.
Yeah, so there'll be some playing around. I know Pete's chomping to get back to it. I really want to, but I want to do it right. I don't want to rush into it. So I think even afterwards, I mean, I'm putting together a list right now of things that I need, and then it'll be a matter of getting them set up, practicing some, even hey, congrats CD, fully vaccinated.
Yes,
yeah, I'm not a mask in sight. That's actually a problem though, is that people are like, oh, well, I don't need a mask anymore, because they're like, well, you don't have to wear a mask. But I'm still wearing my mask when I go to the store.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing it when I walk into the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not as worried about it when I'm sitting at a bar.
Right.
Without it now. But and that's the thing. There's no way to police it. I mean, they said you don't have to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated, but there's no way for places to police it. They can't insist on seeing your ID and your
a private business can still say no mask, no entry.
Right.
A private business can say that, because it's a private business. They can be like, you got the corner bar or the corner liquor store, and they still want people to wear masks when they walk in. They can say you can't come in without a mask, and people can, and there's nothing people can do about it. It's more about
get pissy and say I'll never shop here again. Or
right, exactly. Again. Did you see about what Ricky Schroeder did online the other day?
No.
Former child actor Ricky Schroeder. He's had a little bit of success here and there as he got older, but he threw a hairy fit outside of a Costco in California because he was like throwing a fit. He didn't want to wear a mask. Felt like he didn't have to wear a mask. And they're like, and the manager at the front of the shop, at the front of the kind of store, he was like, our policy is that everybody still enters with a mask. It is and then he's going on and on about how federally they lifted the mandate. And he's like, it doesn't matter. The state and county still require it. And according to Costco policy, we are sticking to the local laws of the, whatever. And hi, Dresden. And he's getting so strong. I thought I closed that door. Anyway, he flipped out, and he demanded a refund of his membership. He was like entreating people on Twitter and on Instagram or whatever to cancel their memberships to Costco because of the tyranny and all this other shit. I'm just like, what a fucking moron.
And just follow the fucking rules.
Just
wear a fucking mask.
I just don't understand some of these people who are like, oh, it's choking me. I can't wear this piece of fabric over my face because it's choking me. And I mean, I get it.
Or those that wear it like here.
Yeah.
Like, that wearing it on your chin is not wearing a mask.
Sometimes like the mask slips down over my nose and I got to put it back up and stuff. And sometimes I don't do it right away, but because I've got a couple of masks that are a little big for my face or whatever, but it's like you wear the mask properly and it's just, it helps. Even if it helps 25%, it's worth it when it comes to COVID because
the chin diaper.
I get some of these people that have like serious medical conditions.
Yes.
I get some of these people that are like that have asthma maybe, and that might make it a little more difficult and stuff like that.
But the thing is that even with asthma, you're protecting yourself because if you get COVID, it can be a lot more serious.
Yeah, you're probably gonna end up on a respirator. And
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine, a DJ I used to work with in the bar industry years ago, DJ Mike Scroggs. He was actually fairly well known in the area. He was on a vent. He just got off a vent. He looks weak as fuck. He looks 10 years older, I swear. And 10 years older than they know that he is. And he's got on the road. It's gonna be a long time of recovery for him because of how hard it was. He got COVID pneumonia essentially and ended up on a ventilator. And I just
Yeah.
don't understand why people are so, my
Well,
freedoms,
Yeah, yeah,
freedom.
yeah. Mild inconvenience is not oppression.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with CD that we should just do it like Japan and people wear masks to whatever situation they're in.
They've been doing
I
it
think-
for years.
Yeah, they haven't. Most of the Asian countries do it.
Yeah. They wear masks, if they are sick,
Yep.
and they don't want to get other people sick, or if somebody in their workspace might be sick, or might be getting sick or
Yep.
whatever, but not sick enough to stay home from work, so they'll wear a mask. There was even a thing like people would wear a mask if they're afraid that they had bad breath and they don't want to offend, So,
exactly. It's called thinking about others, which is
Yeah.
something we don't do in this country.
no,
It's always just me. The only one that matters is me and my convenience and what I get for, what are you going to give me for wearing a mask? That's the only way people are going to wear masks. It's that's not everybody. That's a broad generalization.
Well, of course,
but it truly is a large chunk of our country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that still think that COVID's not that bad. It's all blown out of proportion, which I'm like, how? After 15 months of this, can you still think that?
I know, right? I mean, there's celebrities that are on part of that extreme fringe that are like, this is all a hoax. Man, hundreds of thousands of people in this country have died. Millions have died around the world. I can't remember exactly what the number was, but there have been, I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of people. I think it's well over 500,000 in this country alone, but that have died because of COVID related problems. If it wasn't COVID itself, it was other health issues they had that were aggravated by COVID, and it wasn't necessarily something really serious. And maybe they had, maybe they just had, weaker lungs or something like that, or they were a bit overweight or something like that. They might have gone on to live a long life, but because of some underlying health issues that COVID aggravated, they died.
Yep.
And that's fucked up, man. And it is true that people that were, if they're finding that it was the elderly and people that had underlying health problems and people that were like morbidly obese and things like that were the first ones to go. But not everybody was like that. Some people just like fucking just died. It's just, I'm getting so tired of these entitled motherfuckers.
Yep. It makes me think of the song people who've died, or people who've died. I forget what. These are people who've died. It's an old punk song from the 80s.
I don't remember, man. Punk, I was never a big punk person. I mean, I don't dislike it. I just really wasn't exposed to a lot of punk in the 80s. I was
It's
more
the Jim Carroll band.
Oh. So my week was relatively the same. Sorry, my week was relatively the same. Just kind of working. We did get final approval for the float for Delta Dental. We got the color scheme for it just Monday, so that's pretty awesome. So I can start planning out colors. It's going to be a while before I'm laying paint on anything, but that's pretty awesome. I've been just doing a lot of organizing and cleaning up stuff at work still. I'm still only doing like 20 hours a week, but it's going to go up to 32 to 35 probably by the end of the month, and then we'll be getting into full production. It'll be 40. And we did have, I did find out though, it's going to be very much a changing of the guard. We've lost two for sure sculptors. and another artist, my friend Shayna, who is a painter and a sculptor. So 2.5 sculptors. I lost my, like, pretty much the person I work with most of the time painting. My friend Amanda, former roommate. Amanda also has got another gig and may not be back. That's kind of up in the air still. So now we're kind of going to be scrambling. We're going to be looking for more artists and stuff, and particularly sculptors. Painters are a little easier to find, but people that know how to sculpt in styrofoam and subtractive sculpture. So, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out. We've got we've got that. We've got another project we're working on too, getting started on an extension to one of the floats, and we're just getting there. It's good. I mean, we've got the game coming up on this Friday. I'm looking forward to that. I've actually started kind of tapping out some details about my character's background, and I was working on with the Hero Forge app on the Hero Forge, the website on Hero Forge, to kind of make finally make Marikaris as a mini. But I tell you, you guys, if you've never checked out Hero Forge, you will get lost in it. It's
how late did you stay up last night?
Another hour on this. I was up late because Stella and I were hanging out and fooling around, honestly. But we were hanging out and stuff, and so I was up a little bit later. But I was like, after I got off the call with you, I sat here for at least another hour, just kind of trying to look at different things and get just all the different options that you can have for that.
Yeah.
That thing. It's just crazy pants,
Yep.
So.
There's a lot.
But yeah, just kind of same old right now. Just getting some gaming, and I'm still playing a lot of Fallout 76, and there's a lot to do in that game, and it is a lot of fun. So particularly now that they've fixed a lot of it. But I do think I'm going to branch off into another game, because that's the thing about 76. It is an ongoing game. It's an online game, and it's ongoing. So I might step away from it for a little while, pick up one of the other games. I've got Valhalla to play. I've got that's the first PS5 game I've got, but I've also got Nier Automata. I've got I've like half a dozen to 10 games.
I actually just started playing Cyberpunk again on Sunday.
I want to leave space for that too, because as soon as they drop some DLC or whatnot, I'm gonna jump back.
They're saying that I just saw an article on that today, and they're saying that the DLC could actually bring a bunch of people back to it and could actually save them with this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. They've patched the living shit out of it, so it's a much more playable game now, and it's still a good game. It's a fucking great game, honestly. The story's great. It's a lot of fun. And now that they have spent the last, when did it come out? In December? It came out in December.
December 10th, yeah.
Right. So the last 5 months, almost 6 months, they've been patching the fuck out of it. So I stand by it. I mean, once they got the 1.2 patch in, it was more or less fixed.
Yeah, I wound up following one of the storylines, the one with Takamura, and we're doing it's the parade thing now. And I'm at the boss fight, and I've died so many times, and I just watched the boss. I get him down to like 40-some%, and then I'm running around, and I go to find him, and all of a sudden I see his health going up faster than mine with the stuff, and I'm like, eventually I just went fuck it and walked away. I'm like, I can't seem to do enough damage.
You need to do some more side quests, get some more get a higher level.
Yeah, the problem is now I got to go back and actually start a game much farther back, because I saved, but it actually auto-saved this one.
Yeah.
So I got to go back, and I'll have to do the entire part of that over again. So. Well,
the Takamura mission arc is a big deal. That's actually.
I know it's one of the main storylines. Well, it is the main storyline, really.
I did a lot. I did a ton of side quests before I got into a lot of the main quests. I would do some of the main stuff here and there, but then I would back away for quite a while, and I did a lot. I tons of side quests. The problem the with the expansions and the DLC that they're going to be adding, the more than likely the DLC will be before it'll be part of the interior of the game, because the way, from what I understand, the way my game ended, I mean, my guy goes off, leaves Night City. So unless you're going to bring him back to Night City, or unless unless the DLC is stuff that happens before the end game. Now they do give you a major save point. So they I mean, there's even a thing that flashes up on the screen saying you can't come back after this. This is the end game scenario here. So make sure you've done everything before you do this mission. So you can back away from going in the building, and you can go off and do whatever you want, and then eventually come back to that. So I could reload that, and then but what I'm probably going to do is, like I said, I'll start a new game, with a different origin, a different thing. So, but yeah, because there's something like 8 different endings, I think it is, depending on the choices you make and the decisions you make and stuff. So I mean, I had a decent ending, so, and I don't want to say too much because I know you haven't finished it, but but it is but yeah, there's like between 6 and 8 different endings, I think it is. So yeah, depending on the sex of your character, depending on the relationships you develop, depending on the choices you make in the end game and stuff. So I'm definitely going to make a couple of different choices. I mean, I had a good ending. I just want to see what some of the other endings are.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Well, I am. It's funny. The other night, or last week, I had bought this to do for the show, and then your wife dropped off the Sunrise Bay, which we reviewed.
Yeah, Sunrise Bay.
Yeah, Sunrise Bay. Funny side note, actually, Stella and I started watching Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't. The first season I thought was a little rough, but after that, I absolutely loved it. The first couple episodes, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it.
You know what? We were hooked right away. I mean, we watched the first 3 episodes, and I was just kind of like, oh no. I mean, I can see what people were saying about how the first couple episodes you're not quite sure because these people seem to be assholes, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
How they grow over the seasons is amazing, especially Alexis.
That's what I hear, So, but we watched, like I said, the first 3 episodes, and we were like, oh yeah, this is pretty awesome. We were just looking for something to watch, like. We didn't want to. We're getting ready to go somewhere. We're gonna do something. I can't remember when. It's something to watch while we were eating, and we didn't want to get into another, like a couple of episodes of SVU. So so we watched that, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking hilarious. So anyway,
actually, David and Stevie's relationship through the entire thing is one of the best things in the entire show as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. I can see that they're developing an interesting friendship. I actually listened to Whitney Cummings has a podcast now. It's called Whitney Cummings Good For You, and the very first episode of it, she's like on episode 80 something now. She's been doing a lot of it, but I think she started it right before the pandemic, and the very first episode she interviews Dave Levy, David's his name on the show. Well, it's David, him, and he's Eugene Levy's son, and it was really cool, and it made me. It was another thing that made me want to watch the show because of listening to his because he's one of the show runners. Daniel, thank you. So yeah, Daniel and Eugene are the main writers and showrunners. So it's kind of cool that he gets to work with his dad, and he talked about how one of the things he wanted for the town when he was creating the town of Schitt's Creek, he didn't want any homophobia or racism in the town.
He wanted his sister too.
What's that?
He gets to work with his sister too.
Oh yeah, who's his sister?
Twyla.
Oh, Twyla is his sister?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's Sarah Levy.
Okay, I didn't know that. But anyway, he didn't want any racism or homophobia or anything like that in the town. He didn't want the show to become about that. He wanted to show the town to be kind of a safe place or a nice place, and that he's putting these. I mean, it is out of the middle of nowhere. It's a little town. It's obviously, not a great town, but it's not an evil place. It's not a bad place. But he's taking these kind of shitty people and putting them in this space. And he wanted it to be more about the growth of the characters and the growth of these people. And I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool.
Part of the other thing that turned me off on the show at the beginning is I can't stand Chris Elliott.
Oh,
I have never liked him in anything I've ever seen him. I hated when he was on How I Met Your Mother. I have disliked him since the first time I ever saw him.
Really? Why?
I don't know. There's just something about him. I don't think he's funny at all.
Okay.
And I've just never liked him.
That dude's got a long career. I don't know. I mean, he's been around a long time.
CD agrees with me.
Hey, I've never disliked him. I've neither here nor there. He's just one of those actors you see in a lot of stuff for me. But anyway, so I was gonna, so since we did Sunset Bay, I set this aside for this week. I actually ended up drinking it with a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine came over, just needed to hang out. He was having a rough time, so he could give me a call, and he was like, "You're vaccinated, right? I'm vaccinated. Can we hang out?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, we haven't hung out. I haven't seen you in a fucking dog's age, man. Come on over." And we were doing some drinking, and he's like, "Hey, what's this in your fridge?" I'm like, "Come on, guys, let's crack it." And it's St. Ambrose draft style mead. It's called the Exerciser, Exerciser, and it is their apple cinnamon honey mead from St. Ambrose. I actually was able to pick it up in a can today, so I actually have one in the can today. It is an excellent yet very sweet mead. And the cool thing was that I actually bought a 4-pack from St. Ambrose of 4 different meads. So for the next 4 shows, I'm going to be reviewing a different mead from St. Ambrose. And I think there's a couple of them I'm not going to like, but that's part of it. But this one is really good. And honest to God's, I mean, honey, cinnamon, maple syrup, tartaric acid, and potassium. So it's obviously some preservatives in here, but it is a very sweet mead, but it is delicious. I feel like I need to pour this over like some pancakes.
Some ice cream or some pancakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's solid mood, man. It's really good. And like I said, from St. Ambrose, which is it says apple pie in a can, and they're not fucking around. St. Ambrose cellars in Beulah, Michigan, produced and canned. It's the undefeated and undisputed champ. Exerciser is the heavyweight champion of the sweet draft meadland. You'll understand why once you pop open this slice of apple pie in a can and try it yourself. And it's fucking solid, man.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a sizer, so it's the cider mead.
Right.
That's
yeah, and like I said, if you're not into sweet meads, this is not the mead for you. But it is. I of course am, and it's really fucking good. Really fucking good. Cool. So check it out. Exerciser from St. Ambrose. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a beer from Bell's. I've had this one for a couple of weeks, and I was gonna do it a couple of weeks ago, but it had some other. But it's this golden color. It's one of the things that gets me though is you see how clear that is. I mean, you see my finger through behind it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's very clear.
You can see your face.
Yeah, so it is very clear, but it's called Incessant. And it is a double New England style India Pale Ale, and there's the bottle. Back it off as much. It's you asked incessantly, so here we are, a New England style IPA from Bell's. Our twist, we doubled it. Enjoy. Most New England style IPAs are hazy IPAs. They're cloudy. That's part of the whole thing with a New England IPA. This is clear. This is very, very clear. This is not what you would normally expect. Now, flavor-wise, I will say it is very much a New England. It is very juicy. It has a lot of citrus flavor, and with a little bit of that like rind bitterness at the end. It's not my favorite Bell's by any means. Uh, it's decent. It's good. I'd say it's probably a 3.25. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not fantastic. If you like New England style IPAs, you'll probably like it. It is a double IPA, so it is a little bit stronger. It's a little bit more hoppy and bitter. I'm looking for it here. There it is, 8.5% ABV. So I mean, it's not crazy high for a double, but it's up there. But yeah, if you like those types of beers, I'd say give it a shot. If you can find it at a bar or something like that, have one or see if you can get a sample of it, something like that. That'd be a great way to go. See if you like it. I have one more after this one, and I'll probably be drinking that soon. But yeah, I don't know that I'll buy it again.
Okay.
It's not bad, but it's not something I want in my beer fridge all the time.
Okay. That's kind of weird to hear you say that. You're usually extremely, you're very generous with
well, that's the thing.
beers.
I don't not like it. It's just it's definitely not going on the should have it all the time shelf. It's okay, yeah, it was good. I don't know that I'd buy a 6-pack of it again. I might, if it's at a bar, I might have one, but it's not anything that I'm going to sit and drink more than one.
I will certainly get more of these St. Ambrose meads. These are lovely, just lovely. Cool. All right. So Exerciser from St. Ambrose draft style mead, and you are again
Incessant
from Bell's.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we
both stayed in Michigan this week.
What's that?
We both stayed in Michigan this week.
Yes, we did. Absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and get started?
All right. So I was just flipping through some stuff today online and came across something that I hadn't heard before, and it's a rumor that I'm not happy with and I don't want to see come true. And again, it's just a rumor. All right, hold on. DD's trying a weird cocktail with Kin High Road. Tastes medicinal. Supposed to be a euphoric. Odd. Okay. Haven't heard of that. But anyway, the rumor, it's a Star Wars rumor.
Oh God.
And
here we go.
It's the rumor that they're looking at Brie Larson to play Mara Jade.
Well, I don't know if she's right for it, but I don't hate Brie Larson. I don't understand the venom that
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate her, but I'm just not a fan. I don't think she's that great. I wasn't impressed with her as Captain Marvel. I agree, CD. She's mediocre. I don't think she's fit for it. Now, one of the other people that they're also talking about is Elizabeth Olsen. But which at least she's
kind of got her hands full, doesn't she?
Yeah, but at least I think she looks more the part. I don't know that either one of them is is what I picture Mara Jade as, but I couldn't tell you who I would actually see as Mara Jade. But yeah, that's the thing. Both of them are quite busy with the MCU at the moment. Although there's the talk is that with bringing Thrawn in, and that supposedly Thrawn is going to be a big part of Mandalorian season 3, along with the Rangers show and the Ahsoka show. That he's going to play a huge part in all of those. That because he's a Timothy Zahn character, and Mara Jade was introduced in the same set of novels that Thrawn was introduced, that this would be the time that they bring her. And there's also rumors, I guess, that there's going to be a Luke Skywalker and Grogu show about Luke's adventures with Grogu and him training him.
Luke training him?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be an interesting, switch?
And of course, the rumors are still there that Sebastian Stan is going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
he has said repeatedly that he has had no talks and that the only way he does it is if he gets a certain person's blessing.
Sure.
And
Gee, I wonder who that certain person is. They've joked, the two of them have joked extensively online and about how he does look like he could be a young Mark Hamill. You know, he looks a lot. He really does look a lot like Luke. You know, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that's the latest rumor out there. Again, just a rumor, not anything. There's no substance to it whatsoever. But that's the latest one out there, and yeah, no, I don't want. Don't want.
I think we don't need that. We don't need Luke training Grogu. We just, I mean, there's so many other stories. Honest,
I want Mara Jade.
Sure, me too.
I would love to see the Thrawn series done. I would love to see them scrap the fucking last 3 movies and start over and do the Heir to the Empire series. I think that would be fantastic.
I think doing as much as I would hate for them to just scrap all the work that they've done, because I didn't.
Just make it legends, man. They can do it. They did it with everything else. Just make them legends and then bring everything else back into canon.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just
they scrapped all that work that all those authors did for decades.
Right, and see, that's the other thing too, you know. But it's like, you know, pick a role and pick a lane and stick to it. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of what I'd rather see. But that, on the other hand, I'm a huge fan of the Timothy Zahn Heir to the Empire trilogy. I think it would have made a much better movie or movie trilogy. They would have had to recast everybody, though.
Yes.
There's no way. I mean, besides the fact that Carrie Fisher has passed on, but they would have to have cast it, which I'm okay with. I think we have to be comfortable with the idea of other actors coming in and playing characters that we love. That's all there is to it.
As long as
there have been multiple men that have played Superman. There have been multiple men that have played Batman. You know, both different levels of success.
Yep.
You know, but and the thing is, a lot of times it wasn't even the actor's fault so much, and more or less sometimes it was the script. Like Brandon Routh was a pretty good Superman.
Yeah, I didn't mind him as Superman. That script sucked ass.
The script was awful, and he was not so much playing Superman as he was playing Christopher Reeve playing Superman. Which he did a good job doing. You know, Christopher Reeve is, of course, the Superman everybody will, loves and adores. But honestly, I mean, Dean Cain did okay. I didn't hate him. Honestly, the guy who's playing him now, Tyler Hoechlin, great job. The guy's doing really good. Superman, Lois, the Adventures, the new Superman show has been renewed too, as well. Just they basically announced a slate of renewals, and ABC and all these other various. There are a few surprises. I mean, like the Young Rock show did get renewed, and Mayim Bialik's show Call Me Kat got renewed.
I'm glad that one did. That one's a cute show.
It's cute. It's cute. I think it's got legs. It's got a place to grow.
Well, and it takes place in Louisville, so when they mention things,
But and the actually Young Rock is actually pretty good too. It's actually pretty entertaining, and it's really.
I like The Rock. I don't know if I want to see the Young Rock.
Well, the interesting thing is he tells it in flashback, so he's on the show, and he's running for the presidency in 2032, and he is he's often telling stories about his childhood and his past and stuff. And so sometimes he tells stories from when he was 10 years old, and sometimes he tells stories from when he was in high school, and sometimes he tells stories from when he was in college. And he's got 3 different actors that play him at these different stages in life. And it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. So it's 10 years old, 15 or 16 years old. And then like, as he gets out of college, like at the beginning of his career of trying to play football and stuff like that. So, and I got to admit, it's entertaining. And what's one of the most entertaining parts is seeing these actors portraying old school wrestlers like Randy Macho Man Savage and Andre the Giant and the Iron Sheik and Junkyard Dog and the actor that they've got playing his dad and stuff like that. So it's that's kind of cool actually, seeing this big huge dude playing Andre the Giant, you know, and he's doing the voice and he's this huge French accent and but that's pretty cool too. And so anyway, The Rookie got renewed again, thankfully. It's a really great show. But anyway,
that show's still going strong. And
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And but anyway, the Superman, the new
speaking
Superman show is
Brandon Routh,
really great. Oh yeah, holy shit! You know, I never thought I'd live to see the day to see him play a bad guy. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
is
always
an asshole.
Yeah, man, he played Superman, and then he played. He'd been playing Ray Palmer in the Arrowverse for like 6, 7, 8 years. He was doing a great job with that. Huh?
Dylan Dog.
Yeah, Dylan Dog. He was in that little movie.
That movie was way better than I thought it was going to be too.
It was. It was really fucking cool, actually. But you know, for the most part, he always plays kind of good guys, and then for him to play like a racist cop, a racist asshole cop, in Los Angeles, manipulative kind of racist guy.
Yep.
I was really shocked because at first, and it's really funny because he like starts off being like a likable guy, you know, and then it turns into like he's just this like manipulative prick, you know. So I like how they kind of did him last episode.
Oh yeah.
I
haven't watched this week's yet.
I didn't watch yesterday.
I haven't watched anything this week.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it after our show. But anyway, you know, I mean, the Tyler Hoechlin's doing a great job playing Superman. Tom Welling did a good job playing Clark Kent, and it's
I think Cavill did a great job as.
Who did?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah. Of course, almost forgot Mr. Cavill. I think Cavill was absolutely fantastic. He did a distinctly different Superman from say Chris Reeve or Tyler Hoechlin or Dean Cain, but some would argue a very modern Superman, and where some of the other guys do a little more traditional. But I mean, he did a great job.
Dean Cain was probably the only one I didn't really care for. Never really liked him as Superman.
I didn't dislike him, but I mean, I was kind of indifferent to Dean Cain. I was kind of like, he's okay, you know. In all actuality, I think I liked Terry Hatcher on the show as playing Lois more than I did like him playing Superman. But the same thing with Batman. I mean, we've had you know, what, half a dozen guys play Batman over the last like several decades, and he's and you know, sometimes it's good and sometimes it ain't, you know, and for the most part, it's I think it's lent largely to the script, you know, and who was better.
Yeah, I don't think Clooney was a bad Batman. I think that script was a flaming pile of dog shit.
One of the worst movies of all time. I think Clooney could have been a good Batman if he had been given a better script, because he's a good actor. And
a suit without nipples.
Oh my god. It's just better dialogue, and just not.
That movie was one, I will say, I was waiting for the bam and the pow to come up on the screen. If they had done that, it might have been a better movie, because then it would have actually felt like a campy movie. Instead, it just and doing homage to the old campy Batman.
Yeah,
but this just felt sad.
It did. I was very bummed out, but what are you going to do? So anyway, to get back to my point, we need to accept the fact that other people are going to play these beloved roles. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the movies aren't going to get made, because there's only so long. I mean, Harrison Ford is about done playing Indiana Jones, and in all actuality, he probably shouldn't have played him in the fourth movie, because he was getting pretty goddamn old. You know, in fact, he's the same age when he filmed the fourth movie. He was the same age as Sean Connery was in the second movie. Yeah, and it had been that
they're
long.
They're saying if this, because they're delayed right now in filming
the third movie.
They were supposed to already start filming that. They're delayed. And
I thought they did start. They just they had to stop.
What I was reading was that they've been delayed. They are well behind schedule, and they said that if this goes like into November or something like that, then Harrison Ford will be 80 when the movie finishes.
Wow. That's incredible to me. It's incredible. But I mean, yeah, so if we're going to continue to have movies that feature Indiana Jones, we're going to accept the fact that another actor is going to have to come in and play them. Same thing with Star Wars characters. Same thing with anybody.
And to be honest, I didn't hate Solo. I didn't think that the guy that got to play Solo was the best choice. But I'll tell you what, Daniel Glover as Lando,
perfect.
Go ahead, recast him. Cast him right now. Because
I'd see a movie I'd see a Lando movie.
Yeah,
with Donald Glover. Absolutely.
Donald Glover. Danny Glover is I'm too old for this shit.
Right. But yeah, so we just need to be better about that. I mean, it's getting ridiculous how people just get so attached, and you know, I don't know. So anything else about that?
No, that was mostly what it was, just that rumor.
Okay. So today or yesterday, it was announced that the Motor City Comic Book Convention will be going forward this year. Instead of it being in the spring, though, it would normally have been in April, or May, actually.
It would have been like this weekend.
Yeah, it would have been, pretty much.
This weekend or the last weekend.
Yeah, I remember it's usually one of the first bigger things I do after I come home from Florida. Normally,
because I'm normally the last few years I've been in Ireland when the Comic-Con happened, so it would right around just after mid-May.
Right. So, but it has been announced they have moved it to October. I think largely because they want to make sure that there are a lot more people, vaccinated, and that the restrictions have been lifted. Now, of course, we did see a lifting of massive mask restrictions, like you and I were talking about earlier over the weekend. Interestingly enough, Stella and I went grocery shopping yesterday, and we didn't see a single person in Kroger that wasn't wearing a mask. So that was very
my Kroger now has a sign that doesn't say masks are required like they used to, having a security guard there hanging them out. Now they have a sign that says, "Please wear a mask while shopping."
Right. So anyway, the date has been moved. It is going to be in the same area over in Novi at the Rock Financial Showplace, whatever it's called now. That keeps changing names, but it will be in Novi. Motor City Comic Con, October 16th and 17th. I think it is that weekend. I believe it is 16th and 17th. And I'm a little bummed out because that probably means I won't be able to go. Unless 16th and 17th, because if we have Theater Bazaar, that would be opening weekend of Theater Bazaar. So that's a bit of a bummer. I think it is. It's either opening or closing. It depends on how, because this year, our Halloween or October has 1, 2, 5 weekends. So it's it'll either be the opening weekend or the closing. Usually we do the first two. No, it'll be the opening weekend. Usually we do the second and the 2 weekends before Halloween. And this year Halloween falls on a Sunday night. So, unfortunately I won't be able to go, and that's a bit of a bummer. It will also only be 2 days and not 3. It'll only be that Saturday and Sunday, not the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In fact, traditionally
you could go to Sunday. You just have to pretty much stay up all night.
I guess I could go on Sunday. I wouldn't get. I would get like
sleep.
I'd get like 4 hours of sleep, and then I'd have to go up. So I guess I could go. I could still go. I might do that. I miss cons. So, plus I miss going to Comic-Con. Comic-Con's a lot of fun for me. So, it's fun, but it's also torturous at times. Because I'm like walking through Artist Alley and I'm like, I should be here. Why don't I should have a table? I'm better than that guy. I'm not as good as that person, but I'm better than that.
But you actually have to finish things to be.
I do. I have to finish things. I'm terrible. I'm just gonna go now.
Oh, how's that logo coming?
It's coming. It's coming.
Let me turn that up for you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine works. Yeah. I might actually fiddle around with it later tonight. I gotta scan it so that I can do the ink work. I could just maybe actually do that with my phone. You know, you can get a pretty decent scan just taking a picture on your phone and then
Oh, yeah?
transferring it. So anyway, yeah, October 16th and 17th, guys, for the Motor City Comic Con this year. It could be great. It's gonna be great. Also, today, or it was either yesterday, I think it was yesterday actually, there's some serious news dropped about the new Bethesda game Starfield. People have been talking about it. It's one of the most anticipated games for the last couple of years. I'd say it rivals Cyberpunk, if maybe not quite as much as Cyberpunk, but Cyberpunk was one of those games that people are like, oh my God, we've waited decades, you know. Starfield is a new IP from Bethesda, and who of course makes Fallout and makes Fallout games, makes of course the Elder Scrolls games. It is a science fiction hard sci-fi game, and it's been anticipated. They're like, is it coming out this year? Is it going to come out like early next year? I mean, what's going on? They still haven't released a release date, but a lot of people said after Microsoft bought Bethesda's parent company, ZeniMax, I think it is. A lot of people were like, okay, does that mean all of the Bethesda games are going to be Microsoft exclusives? Are they only going to be on Xbox and the computer instead of being on the PlayStation? Now, traditionally, they have always been, Bethesda's always been a multi-platform company. They've never been they've never had exclusives. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, they had, Skyrim, same thing with the Fallout games, Fallout 3 and 4 and New Vegas. Now, it has been more or less revealed that Starfield will be an Xbox and computer and PC exclusive. It will not go, at least not right away, will not go to the PlayStation. My guess is that it'll be exclusive at first, and then maybe a year down the road, they might say, okay, we'll port it over to the PlayStation. But now that once they've made their money on it, and stuff. So now, me personally, I've said a few times that I think I would rather play Bethesda games on my computer because they're more, you can get a more wider variety of mods for them. PlayStation does limit some of the mods, but I also really like playing those games on a big fucking screen because they're grand vistas, they're beautiful games. So we'll see. I don't know. I will be playing Starfield, but there's a question as to whether I will wait for it to come out on the PlayStation or if it may never. I don't know. We'll see. So those are, I got that. So
cool.
what didn't you have? You had another one now?
I had a couple other things. One that I forgot that I wanted to mention. Did you see that Marvel, or not Marvel, but Lego is coming out with their largest Marvel set of all time?
No. What is it?
The Daily Bugle.
No.
Yes, you can
That's
actually build the Daily
awesome.
Bugle, and it comes with a bunch of other stuff too, but it's 3,772.
Wow. Didn't they have I think they had a large scale helicarrier. I know there was a smaller one that had like mini, I don't know. But really, so over how many pieces?
3,772.
Wow, just shy of 4,000 pieces. That's insane.
Yeah, it's going to be $300.
That's actually reasonable for that many.
For Lego,
pieces.
it is. For Lego, that's really reasonable. And it comes out May 26th for Lego VIP members and June 1st for everyone else.
June 1st? That's right around the corner. I didn't hear about that. Lego Daily Bugle just came right up in my Google here.
Yeah, and it looks pretty freaking badass. I mean, you look at all the pictures. Pull
up an image here. Let's see what it. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, it looks pretty big. Wow. I've got a few of the bigger sets. I've got the Star Destroyer for Star Wars, and that was a huge fucking set. That was massive. It wasn't the masterpiece one. It was the one that still had the minifigs and stuff, because they do have the ones with the minifigs, and then they have the masterpiece ones, which are really more of a model.
Mm-hmm.
The highly detailed, really, models and stuff. Because I was a huge Lego fan as a kid, and then when they started making the Star Wars Legos, that's when in my mid-20s is when I started rebuying them again and just buying.
Yeah, a buddy of mine buys a lot of the knockoff ones, and
apparently they still fit.
Yeah, but he's got like the Millennium Falcon that he hasn't. I don't think he's built it yet. But
the masterpiece one.
He showed me the box, and I'm like, holy!
It's this big,
shit,
massive cube.
It's just. I'm like, holy crap! He's like, there's so many pieces there. He's like, it'll take me a weekend just to sort the pieces.
Right. I see. I had the first Lego Millennium Falcon kit. It was like almost $100. It was like $90. And but then later on they retooled it, like kind of changed it around and retooled it and re-released it. And then when Solo came out, they made another version based on the Solo Millennium Falcon, which is slightly different. And so I was like, God damn, I almost want to buy this a second time.
But yeah, I mean it's like huge. I mean it's a good 2.5 or like 2 feet across.
Well, that's the masterpiece.
Yeah, that's the one he's got.
Yeah, that one is absolutely massive, and it's like I said, they're really more of a model. It's like built to scale to the minifigs, I think.
Well, and he just sent me a picture because he sends me pictures whenever he finishes them. He knows I'm a Lego nerd,
right?
But it's not something I invest in, but that's one of his
things. Appreciate,
and he does it with his daughters. He builds a lot of things with his daughters, but he just built a biker trooper or a
nice
scout trooper's head.
Scout trooper. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the head. It's like on a post type of thing. He said he's got the Vader one too that he's doing next.
Yeah, so that's the thing that Lego's releasing too. You can get them I've been seeing them at Barnes and Noble when I go to see Stella sometimes. Is like these Lego kits that are really more art pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, you build a portrait out of Legos. Like they've got them for the Beatles, and there's one for Marilyn Monroe, and then there's an Iron Man kind of mask helmet thing, and it's kind of like a bas relief, and then you kind of hang it on the wall. And they released a Lego glue that you can buy that is
permanently seal them.
No, it's a sort of a semi-permanent. So it's like it's water soluble. So you use it and you can glue them together and they'll stay, but then you can use warm water apparently. And so you can like basically take the thing, fill up your tub with warm water and just put the thing in your tub, and then it'll basically loosen up the glue enough that you can take it apart. And because God knows water's not going to hurt the Legos, they're just plastic, But so yeah, there's a lot there. Lego's doing some really cool stuff. They're releasing things, making things. There's the architectural series. There's the Master Builder series, like the Falcon and the Star Destroyer and stuff like that. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, my big thing is I don't have the space to display them. So that's one of the reasons why I don't collect.
Right. I have a huge container in here in my room here, and I'll get a new kit, and then I'll put it together and I'll display it on a shelf in the living room for a while, and then I take it apart and I put it in the container. My dream is to someday just go in the basement and spend like a month of Sundays or just a month of weekends just playing Legos and build a massive Lego thing using all of my space Legos from when I was a kid and my Star Wars Legos and the few superhero ones. I got a couple of Batman kits and stuff like that because it is a lot of fun.
Well,
Legos are so much fun.
Yeah, one of the other things I was going to bring up was another toy. Hasbro is releasing a full-scale working replica of the Tony Stark Infinity Gauntlet.
Cool.
It actually comes with the gems,
yeah,
with the stones, and they glow.
Oh, badass!
And you can actually put the fingers together and do that, and it makes the snap sound.
Wait a minute.
But it's actually a glove you can wear.
Where did you see this?
Nerdist. It's the Iron Man Infinity Nano Gauntlet. It is 18 inches long.
Infinity Gauntlet. Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet Nano. Is that what
Yeah,
you said?
yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the Nerdist. Wait for the images to look. Wow. Okay. Well, it does look like it's not as massive as like the Thanos Gauntlet that
No, it's
your
not.
entire hand is dwarfed and
No, it's built like Iron Man's armor.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, so the fingers and it's got like a rubber.
Yeah,
It's rubberized,
yeah,
so that it's much more flexy.
yeah. It is flexible.
Okay. Neat. And it's got the glowing things on it. Yeah, the glowing Infinity Stones and articulated electronic fists from Marvel Legends series with this premium man wield the power of the Infinity Stones and imagine seeing the entire universe with just a snap of your fingers. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. CD. He said, detachable gems. You can see who has rich parents come Halloween.
Yeah.
Snap! Get me a drink.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is pretty awesome, but the problem is what I would see is like who's it sized for? Is it
Well, that's
sized
the
for
thing.
kids?
They say it's 18 inches tall. So I don't know,
Right.
but I don't think that's gonna fit me. I think 18 inches is gonna come to about there on me.
You're a
I mean,
big,
yeah,
big person
yeah.
though. So I mean it might fit me, but but still really fucking cool.
It is. I mean, that would even be cool. Just on a shelf, you make a little thing for it and just have it sitting there as a
Absolutely.
display piece.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a Infinity Gauntlet, a Lego Infinity Gauntlet kit you can get.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Again,
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, again, it's one of those Marvel masterpieces. It's like a model you set on the thing. So it's pretty cool.
But yeah, so those were a couple of the things. And then the other thing I was going to say was I don't know that you've started watching it because you said you were going to wait till you wanted to watch Clone Wars first, but I started watching Bad Batch, and I got to say, I know it's getting a lot of flack. A lot of people don't like it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
You binged it? Did you watch the whole thing?
Well, there's only 3 episodes so far.
Oh, okay.
And a new episode comes out every day, I think it is, or Friday. But yeah, so I watched the first 3. The first one is an hour and like 15 minutes long. The second one is 30 minutes, and the third one's 30. But one of the things I liked, it starts off and it just says aftermath, and it starts off with just like the Clone Wars, with the announcer guy like doing like a newsreel type of thing from World War II, which is one of the things I really liked about the Clone Wars, is that they did that. They did them like newsreels, and that's what the guy sounded like. He sounded like that announcer in the movies, and they did this, and they're doing this, and in all those newsreels that you see from like the 40s and stuff. And so it was they started off with that, and then it goes into the whole thing, and then there's Order 66, and then you're seeing what happens in the aftermath.
Okay.
So it's an interesting show, and it's I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
okay. How's and it's the art is pretty cool. I mean, it's that typical.
It's the
same kind of animation.
Yeah, it's the same animation as Clone Wars.
Okay. Hang on. Man, it's on deck. It's right there. It's on deck. So yeah, I'm gonna get around to it. I'm looking forward to it, but because I hear I've heard good things. So
Mm-hmm. I was just reading a thing today saying that a lot of people are saying that they don't think it's, and I personally I think it's all right. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's no Mandalorian, but I mean it's still good.
Back to follow, honestly.
Speaking of that too, another thing is there's a lot of talk now about whether or not Kathleen Kennedy will still be at Lucasfilms by the end of the year, because this is the last year of her contract, and if she's not, which is looking a lot like that she won't be, because she's had a lot of failures on her watch. She almost destroyed the Star Wars franchise, and so they're saying, well then, who's going to take over. And there's been a lot of rumors of Feige, but
No, actually,
he's
Feige denied it.
right. He said, "I'm too busy. I've got Marvel. I don't want anything else." So a lot of things, a lot of people. There's a lot of speculation on who's going to actually take over. I mean, personally, they give Favreau a shot.
Good Favreau.
He's the one that
Right.
saved Star Wars.
Yeah.
And proved that there is still a market when you do Star Wars right.
Exactly. Quite agree. Speaking of shows, not to move on here, but speaking of shows, I binged Jupiter's Legacy on Saturday, I think it was.
I heard good things.
I found it to be solid. I mean, I had seen some reviews that were very kind of lackluster, issues about it being kind of bloated, it having a lot of characters and a lot of kind of things to follow. But they did say the acting was really good, though. The actors did a good job. And I got to admit, I think it was pretty goddamn good. I haven't read the comics, and it's one of those things that I'm like, I kind of feel bad about, because I haven't read the source material like I did with Invincible. Invincible as well got like an 8.8 stars out of 10 on IMDb. It's doing its killing. Like I said, been renewed already for 2 seasons after this, so that's really
wow.
great. But yeah, Invincible has been renewed for 2 more seasons after this, at least. So, but Jupiter's Legacy, you can tell that Netflix is obviously building up to something here. This is not just, they're not just doing 1 season of this. This is something they're going to be working on for a while. So, really very cool. I recommend it. And it's like I said, it's on Netflix, so they've dropped the entire series. And you can binge it. Their episodes are roughly 45 minutes to an hour. And there are some mature themes. There's definitely some mature themes, I mean, I wouldn't say it's definitely a PG-13-ish kind of thing.
It's not The Boys.
It's not The Boys. It's definitely not The Boys. But there are elements of the whole idea, because they're essentially doing what they can to deconstruct the superhero mythos and idea, so talking about the idea of like, well, do superheroes change with the times, or do they stay with that code that they established in the 40s, or when they first, because that's the thing, it's these precursor superheroes that then have families and go on, and then the next generation comes along and they're like, okay, but these villains are much more brutal, and we're not supposed to kill them. I mean, even in self-defense, so it's people are like, hey man, cops can kill people in self-defense, and you're not going to let the superheroes, so it's an interesting question. And then there's questions about legacy and about family, and so it's good. I liked it. I do recommend it, guys, if you like superhero stuff, and if you like the superhero shit. That if you like The Boys, you'll probably like this. It's not, The Boys is much more like over the top and like holy shitness. You're like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah,
you're not going to see that on Jupiter's Legacy. That's more, there are a couple of continuity things that bug me a little bit, but I'm just kind of like, that's like one of the characters, she's superhuman, and yet she's doing like drugs and shit and drinking and shit, and you're like, she's superhuman. Bullets bounce off her skin, but she can get drunk, or she can get high. I mean, wouldn't she have to have maybe something stronger? Like you're gonna, like, normal cocaine isn't gonna work on this woman. She's gonna need something that's gonna put down an elephant. So I don't know.
Speaking of Netflix, though, season 4 of Castlevania is.
Yes, and I think this is the last season.
This is the last season. Yeah, I still have to finish season 3.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's another thing that's on my list. I've got to get to. I let Jupiter's Legacy jump the line.
It's a good show.
Oh yeah, I watched, I think, most of season 1, and my buddy Sean Nicolin was one of the people that was like, dude, you gotta watch this, and he has always been a huge fan.
I think the animation is fantastic in it.
I've never been the biggest. The Flash can't get wasted. I always felt bad for him. Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Wolverine. Wolverine, like, apparently he gets drunk for like 5 minutes, and then his healing factor cleans it right out of his system. He doesn't. Yeah, CD, I'm glad you liked Invincible. It's really a fantastic show. But anyway, yeah, it's. I'm sorry, you were saying.
No, I was just saying Castlevania. I like the animation.
Oh yeah, Castlevania. It's very anime, and I've never been a big anime guy, but I do appreciate it though. It's pretty good stuff.
Well, it's anime, but it's not. It's not like that goofy, like big-eyed, weird expressions anime. It's the more
Correct.
realistic.
It is still technically anime. It's
It
still
is, yeah.
a Japanese Asian kind of style, but you're right. It doesn't have a lot of those same like those tropes that really are annoying about anime.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not Dragon Ball Z.
Correct.
It's more realistic is really what it is. The way
Yeah.
that they're drawn.
Speaking of Netflix again and animation, I posted it on our page earlier this week, but Kevin Smith dropped the first images of the new Masters of the Universe cartoon that he's
Yes.
working on for Netflix,
That
and
looks amazing.
it looks fucking awesome. I was thrilled.
Gotta love spring. Well, summer allergies because we're summer now.
Dude, I went out to my car yesterday. I went out to Stella's car actually first, and her car is black. And I walked out and I kind of rubbed my finger on it. I'm like, oh my god, that's all pollen.
Yeah, dude,
It's covered in
I
pollen.
actually looked out the window today at my car. I haven't driven it in a day, and it's just covered in pollen.
This morning I went out to my car too, and I'm just like, it's got pollen all over it. And I don't know what I'm allergic to, but I'm obviously allergic to something seasonal. And man, it's just like, fuck, it was terrible all weekend. I just felt like, ugh. And I take meds for it sometimes too, not probably as regularly as I should, but anyway, Master of the Universe, I've talked about it on the show. I was a huge fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe when I was a kid. I watched it.
See, now there's an instance of wearing a mask.
Exactly. Thank you, CD. But I saw every episode of Master of the Universe. I saw the update revamp that they did. I actually own a DVD of it, whatever the series, which was also solid. I bought many of the more recent comic books where they kind of treated it with reverence, and it was really great. I mean, I always felt that the He-Man character, I mean, can we give him pants?
Instead of just a loincloth and like
instead of his little shorts? Yeah, can we give him pants?
And fur
his little fur pants. I mean, there's a documentary about Masters of the Universe on Netflix that's really kind of comical because you could tell that the guy that did the initial design for most of them, he's a huge fan of bodybuilders. He just was really, manly. He was a fan of bodybuilders. And you're like, he was an older guy, like a guy like probably in his late 50s, early 60s, maybe. I'm like, that guy's in the closet. That's what I'm, But no, I mean, I was a huge fan of He-Man, and these images that they've put up, holy smokes, man, I am just like thrilled because they really do look. They are the characters, man. They look like, I mean, there's a picture of Moss Man, a picture of Beast Man, Skeletor. There's pictures of He-Man with the sorceress. There's an image of Tila. Now, I haven't got a chance to watch the new She-Ra cartoon yet, but I heard wonderful things about it, that it was a really great progressive cartoon. It was very, reverent of the old cartoons, but still like kind of updated and very cool. And I was like, okay, great. I mean, now the art style is way different than what the original ones were like. This art style is much more like a very updated version of the original art style. And like I said, the characters look very much like the characters. I got no problem with He-Man, just walking around with his harness. But can we give him pants? I don't know. Just, I feel bad. Maybe he's getting cold. I mean, he's already nipping out. I mean, get kind of chilly in those little furry shorts there, riding on Battle Cat. But I am really, really excited. The 5-episode Part 1 series is based on the popular Mattel characters who appeared in the animated series He-Man and the Master of the Universe, which aired from 83 to 85. Smith says the new Master of the Universe is set up as the next episode of the beloved 80s series. So it should be interesting because it was a very innocent show. So I'm gonna wonder: are they gonna maintain the innocence? Are they gonna
Yeah.
are they gonna update it? Are they gonna make it more? According to the Netflix series synopsis, Master of the Universe Revelation picks up after a cataclysm battle between He-Man and Skeletor leaves Eternia fractured and the Guardians of Grayskull scattered. It's up to Teela to reunite the broken band of heroes after decades of them being torn apart by secrets. Teela must also solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to restore Eternia and prevent the end of the universe. The He-Man universe has been near and dear to the series. The new series showrunner and executive producer James. He shared in an introductory Q&A how growing up with the Mattel toys helped bring him into the fandom and secure such massive stars for voice talent. Mark Hamill is doing the voice of Skeletor, and it said that this is the role that made him not quit voice acting. He was I guess he was thinking about kind of calling it quits on voice acting, maybe going into semi-retirement. I don't know, but this made him go, man, are you kidding? So we have.
I mean, he was in Invincible.
Right, and he was just in Invincible, too. He had a small role in Invincible. Small but important role in Invincible. I'm
actually surprised he survived.
Me too, but I think it was the same kind of reason why Invincible's mom survived, is because Nolan did have a soft spot for some of those humans, But the voice cast includes Mark Hamill as the evil Skeletor, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Teela, Chris Wood as Prince Adam He-Man, and Lena Headey as Evil Lynn. Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. Liam Cunningham, Stephen Root, Diedrich Bader, Henry Rollins, Alicia Silverstone, Justin Long, Jason Mewes, of course, Phil Lamar, Tony Todd, Cree Summer, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Kevin Conroy are
he's got Batman and Joker.
Exactly. Yeah, he does. Diedrich Bader and
Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
And Diedrich Bader. Diedrich Bader also has been a Batman too.
Yeah, but I don't count him. Kevin Conroy is Batman.
Kevin Conroy is Batman. Also in the voice cast, as you can see, the cast is star-studded and supremely talented in their own right. The cool thing is he's got, again, like we were talking about before, he has actors and actresses that aren't famous for voiceover, but then he also has some very well-known voiceover actors like Cree Summer and Kevin Michael Richardson. So that's pretty cool. It is Master of the Universe debuts on Netflix on July 23rd. But while they may feel like a long way away, you can check. Okay, so it is the first part, apparently. It'll be the 5-episode part 1, and then later on we'll have another part 2.
And I'm sorry, when was that?
July 23rd.
Okay.
So around the corner.
Couple months,
yeah.
Also on Netflix, and speaking of animation, Love, Death, and Robots season 2 is out.
Oh man, I watched the first 2, and I'm already like.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I actually don't think I even finished the last one. I think I've got like 2 or 3 left to watch.
So good. They tend to be. There's not as many. There's only 8 in this season, but they seem to be longer. Like there were a few in the first season that were only like maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the rest of these seem to be much longer. So I watched the first 2, and just so fucking good.
I liked a lot of the ones in the first one. Some of them I was like, eh. But
yeah, there were a few that were not as good as others, but I still found them all to be very entertaining at the very least. So just some were better than others,
Yep. The only other thing I have is, and we don't really have time to get into it tonight, which I haven't really had a chance to anyway, but as of today, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft came out and is now available wherever you get your stuff. I got it on D&D Beyond, but I'm sure you can order it on Amazon and or your local game shop.
So you're not going to get a book?
I probably will. A lot of them I do. I've got just about everything in book form. That's one I'm not sure about. I mean, I like it as a reference book, but I don't ever see myself actually running a Ravenloft campaign. So
yeah. I think I'll probably get it just because I've always appreciated, like that dark, the horror kind of stuff, like vampires and werewolves, and I've always kind of liked that kind of setting. So I might pick it up, add it to my collezione. I've actually been picking up a lot of Pathfinder 2nd edition books lately. Buying the pocket editions, they're only $20 some odd, so they're pretty affordable. even if I don't really plan on playing it in that system anytime soon, they're beautiful books, and I like to support the company. And like I said, the pocket editions are very affordable. They're great. So, yeah. Why don't we talk about Van Richten's when you have a little more time to?
Yeah, give me a week or so to at least get through it.
Well, you got it on D&D Beyond, correct?
Yep.
Well, that means I can check it out too, because
yes.
it's you're gonna add it to our campaign or whatever. So I'll be able to take a look at it as well. Couple of quick hits here before we go. Keegan Michael Key hosted Saturday Night Live last week.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I saw that he had done that.
I watched one clip where they did a Kermit Muppet Show skit where they have bouncers that go up and basically call out Statler and Waldorf for all their heckling. It's really fucking funny. In fact, at one point, what's one of the other actors that's on the show? African American. He's been on it for.
I have no idea now.
What's it? Keenan.
Oh.
Keenan. Blanking on his last name right now, but Keenan actually kind of drops character a little bit. He starts to break a little bit because it's so fucking funny. But yeah, he and Keegan play a pair of bouncers that basically call them out and then try and bounce them, and it's really funny. I'm gonna watch the full episode largely because I am a big fan of Keegan Michael Key, but he's also a hometown boy. He is from Detroit. He's very proud from Detroit, Kenan Thompson. Thank you. And Keegan also worked at the Renaissance Festival in the back when I was first starting, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh,
so, yeah. He was a performer at MRF. He was kind of making his way out when I was kind of on my way in. So, really, and a real cool dude, really solid guy. When I met him a couple of years ago, really seemed cool. GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5 has finally got a release date for their updated version for the PlayStation 5. It is coming out November 11th. Rockstar Games snuck the announcement of the November 11th release date into the tail end of a post about upcoming plans for GTA Online and Red Dead Online updates. So you will see a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X version of GTA 5 coming up in November. Now, GTA is honestly, God, it was a really great game. I enjoyed it a great deal. I've enjoyed the GTA games. The last few games I played the hell out of. I don't know if I'm going to go back and play this game again. I played it the first time on my PS4, and I think actually I might have even played it on my PS3. I think I did. I think it was the last game I played on my PS3. But
I've never played any of the.
It's a real solid game, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good story. It's funny in a lot of places, irreverent. But it's interesting that it's one of the few games that is crossing over into a third game system. Now we'll have a GTA 6 probably coming in 22 or 23, but the fact that they are porting it all the way to the 5 from the 3 and the 4 is saying something. Mm-hmm. But I never got into GTA Online. Mainly because, in Grand Theft Auto, you still play bad guys. I mean, you may play bad guys that aren't as bad as other bad guys. I mean, you're one of the better bad guys, but you're still playing a bad guy, and I like to play good guys. Yeah. So although I do enjoy the games and I'll play them, I will probably only play them once and play them through and enjoy them, but it's not a game I tend to go back and do repeated playing.
Yeah, Ghost Hand just said that crazy to think.
Hey, Ghost Hand.
GTA 5 lasted until just now. Just a shame that online took over everything and killed hopes for single player deals.
I know, right? I mean, it's one of those things, I like the idea that they have these online versions of the game so that it continues the life of the game. But you're right. It's like the online stuff takes over. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games I've ever played. Has there been any DLC for it? No. because they're concentrating so much on the Red Dead Online stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And although I'm probably going to experiment with Red Dead Online a little bit, or I played it a little bit at the beginning. As soon as I beat the first, the initial game, I did go in and play a bit of the online stuff, but I'll probably go back and do it some more. But I mean, it's been like 2 years now, or a year and a half, so I'd have to pretty much start from scratch again. I just, it was like, I mean, they need to. I really wish they would go back and get some really solid, make some good DLC for those games. They deserve it. You know, I mean, they just really deserve it. And like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2, such a good game, man. It's honest to God, it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's just incredible. You know, Chris, if you ever, I mean, as cowboy games go, I mean, both Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2, both.
I've got Red Dead Redemption 2, and I started playing it, and I got out of it. Cowboy games aren't my biggest thing. I was enjoying it, but it's one of those things where it's a time sink. It's a I start playing it, any game like that. I mean, Dragon Age was the same way for me when I started playing that.
You have to commit.
It's I'm sitting here and I'm playing, and next thing I know, 5 hours have gone by, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep, that's very true. I'm like that. Most of the games that I enjoy are like that. I could play for hours and hours and hours.
There goes my Saturday. Like, I had other things I wanted to do today, but nope. And then it's like, well, I might as well just sit here and keep playing this.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm already in for 3 hours. I may as well, you know, do 2 more and then go to bed or whatever, you know. There's been many a time that I have seen, you know, I've unfortunately watched the sun come up because I've been playing marathoning a game. I mean, when I wasn't working and as Cyberpunk first came out, dude, I'd be up half the night, you know, or I'd start playing around 11 o'clock, and then all of a sudden, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock is rolling around. I'm starting to see the sun come up. I'm hearing birds chirping out the window. Fuck. Well,
keep playing poker until you're rich.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's not hard, not easy either. You know, like, I mean, the poker and blackjack games in those games are a lot of fun too. The mini games in
lose, reboot.
Other than that, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I did want to get into the Nevers, but why don't we wait until next week so you can finish it up?
Yeah,
guys, the Nevers, really great episode. It's not the final episode of the season. Apparently, it's like the final episode of the first part of the season. And maybe they're gonna, because it says season finale part 1 or something like that. So it looks to me that that this was just like how some shows are doing, breaking up the first seasons into like halves. And I will say that the show takes a sharp right turn, and we thought that Joss Whedon dropped a bunch of answers in the first episode, and he was just teasing us. There's a way more answers in this.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything about when the second part will be on, because they're like, when will part 2 be? Yeah. Is HBO making the Nevers part 2? Yes, Nevers part 2 is currently in pre-production. The new showrunner started work on scripts for the second part of the season. Season 1's production schedule was halted due to COVID-19, and they decided to split the first season of the Nevers into 2 parts. That's why. We don't have an official word from HBO on when the Nevers Part 2 will premiere. Fans should expect a bit of a wait. Filming on the Nevers Part 1 was completed in fall of 2020, and the series didn't premiere on HBO until April 2021. Given that the Nevers Part 2 is about to go into production later this year, and it's a VFX-heavy show, we anticipate that the Nevers Part 2 will premiere sometime in 2020.
Balls. All right, well, guys, sit tight. We'll talk about it next week, and we'll get into it, and after Chris gets a chance to finish.
I'll probably be watching it tomorrow.
Excellent. All right. I don't know about that, man. That's about it.
That's about it for me.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight on another
Yes, I
exciting.
agree, Ghost Hand. This is a great age for on-demand content.
It really is. I mean, we are in a golden age of television, and that golden age is because of the streaming and the way they're changing the way they're making television shows, the way we are,
And there's so many
consuming it.
We don't just have 3 networks either.
Right.
Now you've got like the streaming services and things like HBO and Showtime and Stars making these great shows with much more adult content because they can.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing so many shows that are going directly. They're not even being on regular show TV. They're just going direct to the streaming services too, like the Star Trek shows and there's the stuff the Peacock is making stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, of course, Netflix, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's a really incredible. It's almost overwhelming though because there's just so much to fucking watch. So anyway, but guys, yeah, thanks for joining us.
One last thing that I did forget to mention, I think earlier. I don't think I did, but we got the trailer for Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2. Part 1's not even out yet. Part 2's they've dropped the trailer for it. It looks fantastic.
Right.
Part 1 comes out June 22nd. Part 2 will be out later this year. I'm looking forward to it. I want to check it out. Yeah,
Long Halloween is a great story. It is a long story, so it's understandable that they would break it up into 2 movies. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. I actually picked up the other day the new Justice Society film, animated DC animated film. Once again, haven't watched it yet, but it does star our guru, our master, so to speak. Matt Mercer does a voice he plays Our Man, one of the members of the Justice Society. So looking forward to seeing that. So.
All right, so now we can wrap things up.
Anyways, wrap things up. Thanks again for joining us, guys. Remember, you can find us at all the places you can find quality podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on iTunes, the Google Play Store, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com. And of course, you can download and stream all of our episodes at nerdswithout-alcohol-show.com. Every 8 o'clock right here on Drinking Nerds
Tuesday
on Twitch. Every Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Drinking Nerds on Twitch, and our shows are then put up on our YouTube channel a couple of days later.
For a week, like today.
Or a week. So. Don't forget to catch us also this Friday for Tavern Nights, our D&D game.
Yep, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Right here on Twitch.
It'll
probably be more like 7:30 by 7:15, 7:30 by the time we actually get started.
Right. We get in and we figure out any technical difficulties we might be having.
So, but yeah, remember you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds. We are on Instagram Drinking Nerds. We're on the on Untapped, the beer drinking app. You can just search for Drinking Nerds on there. Send us a friend request, and we will get you added. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle is right there below my name. I am at Detroit Beer Guy. So if you want to follow me as well, that'd be so. Otherwise, I think that will just about do it for tonight.
Yep, that'll do it.
But thanks a lot, guys, again, for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us every week. We look forward to talking to you later on. And on that note, until next time.
Sláinte.
That wasn't bad. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.